how to raise the value of your offer so much that it becomes a no-brainer. This question comes from Daniel in Canada. He says, Sean, you're a genius, and any insights you have on this would be highly appreciated. Firstly, I like the second part of your question. Shameless flattery is always welcome. Now, onto your question. There are 4 different parts to raising the value of your offer so much that it becomes a no-brainer, and those are going to be the following. Number 1, we have to sell them emotionally to get them invested in what we actually have to offer, get them wanting it before we even talk about any of the logistical crap. Secondly, we do of course have to talk about the logistical stuff to prevent them getting buyer's remorse and refunding later on. So we have to handle the logistics. Third, after we've covered both of those, we do have to of course handle any objections they still might have. And the fourth one, well, it's secretly a little bit genius, and so I will save that for later on in the video. Let's talk about number 1 first. First part to raising the value of your offer so much that it becomes a total no-brainer for your clients is going to be selling them emotionally. Now, that is going to come down to, number 1, understanding your target market really well. And then number 2, writing really compelling copy that speaks to them and addresses them exactly where they are up here. So let's say, for example, you're selling a weight loss offer. Number 1 mistake I see over and over again is people getting out there and they're talking about, oh, dude, this is what other personal trainers charge. I only charge this and I'm better than them and blah, 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 blah. No one cares, okay? Because they don't want what you have yet, and they don't frankly believe you that you can actually solve their problems first, because they're a unique, special individual snowflake, and they don't believe you have the unique solution for them. How do we handle this? Very, very simple. We have to address the conversation that is going on in your prospect's mind. For example, you're selling a weight loss offer. There's a girl out there, she's mid-20s, corporate professional. She can't lose weight. She's looking to lose 20 pounds. She's been trying for like a year and she just can't do it no matter what. So we are going to tap into those pain points, and we're going to mention about how, I know you used to look so good in high school, but now that you tried on the same jeans that you did when you were 20 and they just don't fit anymore. And you go to the beach with your friends and they all look so sexy in their bikinis, right? But you don't feel comfortable in your bikini, right? So you avoid situations like going to the beach. You avoid all that. You actively, you never want to have dessert because, you'll be labeled as a pig, and you're trying to lose weight, but then you're having dessert and you feel guilty about it every time you eat food that isn't super clean. And for the life of you, no matter what you do, you just cannot seem to lose that weight around the belly area, right? And she's going to be listening to this, which by the way, that's all bullshit. I mean, weight loss, literally, burn more calories than you consume. Let's not overcomplicate it. Yet we've somehow managed to turn this into $1 billion industry and overcomplicated the shit out of it. But anyway, all right, it doesn't matter what the science says. What matters is what your prospect feels. So if she feels like she's tried everything and she just can't lose weight to save her life, fine. That's the conversation that's going on in her mind, and that's the one we're going to address. Because understand, the number 1 law of sales, if you can make your prospects feel like you understand them, maybe even better than they understand themselves, they will automatically assume that you have the solution. So rather than just moving into the logistics and talking about the features and the benefits that everyone else does, you have to take the time to get this right. That's going to come down to understanding your target audience and demonstrating that you understand their reality. That is number 1 most important thing before you can move into any of the rest of the process. So let's say you're offering email marketing as your service. You're talking to your prospect on the phone. They mentioned that they've been burned a couple times by freelancers in the past. And what most freelancers would do there is they would jump in and immediately say, oh, well, I'm not like them. I'm way better, and here's why, and I charge less money, and I'm reliable, and blah, 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 blah. They don't care. All right, you're talking about features and benefits here. You haven't sold them emotionally yet. They don't care. So rather than going into all of that, take a second, take a deep breath and go into their world for a second. Say, hey dude, I totally understand where you're coming from. Most freelancers out there, the truth is, they're not very reliable. They hand you subpar work. They're constantly late. They're terrible at communication. You're constantly having to follow up and chase them up for the work. It's never at the standard that you fully expect. And frankly, no matter how many times you try to tell them, they never seem to get your brand voice right. So dude, trust me when I say, I totally understand how you feel. Dude, in that moment, the client is thinking, oh my God, someone finally that understands me. Because you just took an extra 5 to 10 seconds to demonstrate an understanding of their reality. They're going to be like, oh, this dude actually gets it. Now, as a result of what you just said, what do you think they're going to conclude? 1, you understand how the industry works and you have a lot of experience, but 2, that you're not like these other freelancers who do these things that are late, that fail to capture the brand voice and are, not very reliable and so on and so forth. That implies that you're not like that, without you having to overtly try and sell yourself like that. See the difference? Subtle difference, very, very powerful. Moving right along into number 2. Once we've sold them emotionally, they feel understood. They feel like you understand them and you have the solution. Now they are super attentive. Attentive. They're super attentive. You have their full and undivided attention. This is where you can go and talk about the actual logistics and the features and the benefits of what you do. So this, in the fat loss example, is when you would jump in and you would say, okay, so normally my hourly rate is $1,000 an hour, but for this particular case study program that I'm starting, I'm so hell-bent on getting 50 people into the best shape of their lives this year. So I'm going to take those 50 people and I'm going to be giving them customized meal plans, customized workouts, supplements, suggestions, and accountability, text check-ins every single day for just $200 a month instead of the normal $100 an hour that I charge. And now they're like, whoa, dude, that's insane. That's mad value. And if you'd said that at the start, didn't care. Now, because you've sold them emotionally first, they're much more receptive to listening to logistical details. And they're like, whoa, dude, that sounds like a no-brainer. Sign me up. But we're not completely done yet, because as good of a job as you might have done in these first 2 categories, people still are under this belief that they are unique little snowflakes, okay? And they're gonna have their own unique set of objections and reasons to why they are different or they're special, or why they've tried this in the past and it didn't work, or why you're no different from the other gurus and coaches that are out there, and you have to handle this, okay? And so one of the best ever ways to handle objections like that is going to be with social proof, testimonials, and results from previous clients, preferably clients that were in a much worse situation as the client that you're currently talking to is. So for example, this person, she tells you she has the worst genetics in the world. She's like, I just have fat genes, and I just can't lose weight no matter what I try, right? And so you're going to talk about, and she says I hate diets, diets just don't work for me, and exercise just doesn't work for me either. What can you do, right? So we're going to talk about Jenna from down the road, who was your client, and you guys started working together 6 months ago. Now, Jenna, she had the worst genetics you've ever seen. She was 100 pounds overweight. She had a history of diabetes and obesity, and all the diets she previously tried didn't work for her, and none of the personal trainers that she worked with before worked at all. But I started working with Jenna 6 months ago, and we put together a customized diet and nutrition and workout plan for her. She's been following it every single day, actually eating more than she would have eaten on these other plans, and she's been steadily losing 5 pounds every month, just like clockwork. And now she's in the best shape of her life and loving it. And so what the person reading is going to conclude is they're going to go, oh shit, well dude, if Jenna can do it, fuck it, I can do it, right? Because she started off at a worse place than I am. So that's usually the best way to handle those kind of objections, is just by stating, it's just frankly through proof of other people that have done it, starting from worse off situations. So I get a ton of people all the time. A big objection I face when people want to join my program is, I have a family, I work full time, or, I have another business or whatever it is, and I'm not sure I'm going to have the time to implement. Well, the story that destroys that objection pretty much every single time is my record holder, Luca Meninghetti. He's a 16-year-old kid from Italy who went from $0 to $10,000 a month in 25 days as a full-time high school student. I have another dude, Brian, in Minnesota, who's, he has a family, he has kids, he had a full-time job. He went from $0 to $10K a month within just a few months as well. So telling stories like that, people kind of realize, well, shit, if Luca can do it, come on, I can do it too. So that's usually the best way to handle objections. Now, secret extra bonus pro tip, just because you've watched the video this long, I'm gonna give it to you. The fourth really, really super ninja way that you can use to make the value of your offer a complete and utter no-brainer and just erase every ounce of resistance that your prospects might have is going to be what I call erasing the friction, as much friction as possible from your offer. Now, credits to Dean Jackson for this. If you haven't heard of Dean Jackson, he is possibly the smartest marketer on the planet. The dude lives and breathes marketing like it's his oxygen. And frankly, I haven't met a smarter marketer in my life. Dean Jackson has this great concept that he calls more cheese, less whiskers. And what he means by that, essentially, how can you move as much friction as humanly possible? So for instance, right now, the biggest friction that people are facing is that they have to pay you upfront to work with you, right? They've got to pay you $3,000 or $2,000 or $1,500 or whatever it is upfront for you to provide the services. And they're hesitant to do that because they don't know if you can bring the value and, frankly, if they're going to make a return on their investment. That's the objection that they have. And so if you're just starting out and you don't have that many clients yet, and you just, frankly, you're kind of desperate to get that first client under your belt, because I can tell you, once you've got that first client, everything becomes so much easier from then onwards. So what would be a really, really great value proposition for you is offer them, say, hey, you know what? Rather than you paying me upfront, I'm that confident in my services and the results that I can provide that I'm willing to write you 2 weeks worth of free emails. And you know what? If they don't perform, if you don't like them, don't pay me. But if they do perform better than your current emails, which I'm pretty confident that they will, then, my normal rate is $2,000 an hour, and we can talk about, from that stage, what it might look like if we were to work together. Sound fair enough? It's pretty much a no-brainer. Another way to make your offer super friction-free is offer to work for commission instead of retainer, because that way, if you don't perform, you don't bring them results, they don't owe you a single cent. But if you totally crush it for them, you make them 100 grand, they're going to be more than happy to pay you they're going to be more than happy to pay you 10 grand in commission. Okay? So have a think right now about how you can make your offer as friction-free as possible. And I guarantee you will start signing way more clients way, way easier than you have been before. Okay? So that, my friend, is how to raise the value of your offer so high that it becomes a total no-brainer. Hope this video was valuable. If you found value in the video, please smash, destroy, and obliterate the like button for me. If you hated the video, feel free to obliterate the dislike button twice. Really, really let it know. And feel free to subscribe as well while you're at it. Hope that was valuable for you, and I'll see you very, very soon.